All right, in this next example, example 3, we're going to be using intercepts again, just like we did in example 2. So if you haven't watched example 2, go back and watch example 2. And what we learned in example 2 was the use of the standard form to find intercepts. And so that should be our clue that we're going to be looking for intercepts. And again, we'll have our y-intercept and we'll have our x-intercept. But before we can move forward on this, we have both of these in slope-intercept form. So actually, if this was a test question and you had to choose one, I would absolutely choose slope-intercept form, and I would just go with put the intercept on the graph, move the slope, and just call it done. But I do want to show you a different way of doing it, just so you have a different way. So we need to put this into standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. So I'm going to rearrange things to do that. I need the x to be on the other side. So I'm going to add 3x. Why add 3x? Well, because I have minus 3x. And a negative 3x is the opposite of a positive 3x, or positive 3x is the opposite of a negative 3x. And so if I want to do that to one side, I need to do it to the other side as well. I'm going to start with my x, and so I have positive 3x, but positive signs are one of those invisible maths, and so I don't need to do it. 3x, and then I have y, and again, invisible math tells me that there's a positive sign to the left of every number and variable unless there's already a negative sign there, so I have plus y, and then over here on the other side, I have 6. I'm going to let I'm going to start with the x-intercept. I'm going to let y equal 0, so 3x equals 6. Let's divide by 3. Divide by 3, and we end up with x equals 2. And again, if you don't know how to do that, do it on your calculator. And so I know that I had x equals 2 and y equals 0. So I have a spot at 2, 0. So I'm going to go to 2, 0. I'm going to put a spot there. Then I'm going to let x equals 0. So I'm going to get rid of that 3. It's 3x plus y equals 6. That's our equation. I'm going to let that x equals 0. So I'm just going to have y equals 6. And I know that x equals 0. So I've got a spot at 0, 6. That's going to be my y-intercept. And so I go to 0, 6. I'm going to connect those dots. And after I get past that dot, I'm just going to do the best that I can to keep it in a straight line. That's going to be part A. Was that A or B or C? Yeah, that was part A. Do the same thing for part B, but in this one I see that I have a fraction. So it's going to involve a little bit more work, but we're going to subtract 1/2 x from both sides, minus 1/2 x from both sides. So we'll have negative 1/2 x plus y, and then we'll just carry down the 2. So we'll say equals 2. And I don't want to have to deal with this fraction. I tend not to like to deal with fractions. And so one of the things I'm going to do before I do anything else is I'm going to multiply by whatever the denominator is of the fraction. And if there's multiple fractions, you can come up with a multiple for both of them, a least common multiple, or you can just multiply by the denominator twice. So I'm going to multiply everything by 2. And when I have the brackets around the whole equation, it means multiply everything by 2. So let's get rid of that fraction first. Negative 1/2 times 2, well, the whole point was to get rid of that fraction and end up with just negative 1x. That 1 is going to be invisible, so we'll just have negative x. And then I'm going to multiply 2 times y, and so we'll have plus 2y. And then equals 2 times 2, which is 4. Now I can work with it in standard form, and I'll start off by letting y equals 0, so I'll have negative x equals 4. I don't want negative x, and that's negative 1x. Don't forget negative 1x. So I'm going to divide by negative 1, and say that x equals negative 4. And again, we have negative 4, and we let y equal 0. So that's our first point. We'll come down here to negative 4, 0. And then we'll let x equals 0. So x equals 0. We'll have that negative x will go away. We'll have 2y equals 4. Divide both sides by 2. Oh, let's do that in at least the same color. Sorry, guys. Starting to go too fast. So we'll divide by 2. And we have y equals 2. And so we have this other point when x equals 0, y equals 2. And so we'll go to 0, 2. We'll put a dot at 0, 2. And again, we're going to connect those dots and do the very best job that we can of keeping it a straight line. And then that is going to be part B. And I don't like where I put A at this point, so I'm going to go back and erase A. And I'm going to put A down there on that part. So that labels it. If you still have your notes for example 2, I'm going to go back to example 2 real quick because I did not label the graphs. And so let's label those graphs. This is going to be C, and this is going to be D, so that they are labeled and we know what ones those are. So that's going to do it for example 3 and part of example 2. But if you don't get it, just let me know, and I can work with you to understand it. Otherwise, I'll see you in class.